Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of Intuitive Insights. I am Dr. Yolanda Dukes, and I have a very multifaceted, talented guest here today with me, Lisa Clayton, who is author, intuitive, and spiritual life coach. Hi, Lisa. How are you?
Dr. Yolanda, it's doing great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for tuning in with me today. I was watching one of your videos this morning, and you are so articulate and well-spoken. I was really, really inspired by your words. How did you get started in this business?
I actually, as far as the articulate and the words, I actually started doing presentations when I was 9 years old in 4-H on a farm. And so I've had a lot of speaking experience in front of audiences of county fairs and the state fairs. So yes, so I started out as a school teacher of fourth graders, and my heart and passion is making learning experiences exceptional for people. And so when I was a school teacher, I was frustrated because all we had were textbooks, and that's the only tool we had. And so I was like, there's got to be some better way to teach children. Half my children couldn't read. And so I left teaching and went to a textbook company and started developing activities, and then became a professional trainer, professional speaker through that network. And that's how I got started in my professional training and leadership role. And this whole time I'm having this intuitive experience and evolution too, about my evolution and getting more connected to my passion and my purpose. And so after a few years in the professional training industry, one of my Fortune 500 clients said, Lisa, start your own company. We don't know what you do in a classroom, but you make it come alive. You make the learning stick. People apply it. We want you to start your own company. So I did. And then I sat there and I thought, what is it that I do? How do I do this? And I'm like, oh, because I'm connected to source and my intuition, and I let my heart lead. So I'm going to start a company called Source Potential. And so I did, and I gave the Fortune 500 company the name, and they're like going, oh, this is great. We just want the potential part, not that source thing. Okay, that's way too woo-woo. Don't be talking about that source. So that's how it all started. But as I was doing, I developed a learning method for people to develop their potential. And I kind of just wove in the spiritual things, but I still was hiding behind it. And then my business took a crash in 2008, and I found Kimberly Maroney of the Angel Ministry, and I became ordained as an angel minister. And that's when I made a commitment. Okay, I'm not hiding any longer my spiritual gifts, and I'm going to help other people find their spiritual gifts and apply them to their daily living, because that's what it's about. Because when we have that feeling inside of us that there's something more, there's something, what else is there? Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? That's when the calling is coming to activate those beautiful spiritual gifts inside of you. So,
So you said something I had never heard of before, which was an ordained angel minister.
Yes.
What was that process like for anybody else that's interested in going down that path?
Yes. So Kimberly Maroney has a program that is through Gateway University, and it's a spiritual academia that she is dean of. She's dean of Gateway University, and she's the only person in the world that has an ordination to become an angel minister. So you actually go through a 2-year process, taking a deep dive, and you study and you practice, and you do a lot of the meditations, and we learn how to do angel readings with cards, and we take this really deep dive into our spirituality. And then you come out with an ordination, which gives you, most people can get an ordination now to do weddings and funerals and things like that. But it's much more than that. It's really bringing forth your spiritual gifts. And I just always have, I've had a connection with angels since I was a little girl on the farm. I used to look up in the sky and see angel clouds. And then when I didn't understand what I was being told or taught about religion, I would always go to my angels, and they would just, always help me and lift me up. And I've always had that connection. And then I started to hide that because I started talking to them and I started receiving messages. And then as I got to be a teenager, that wasn't cool. They're like, who are you talking to? Oh, I was just talking to Archangel Michael. What? What do you do? Are you some kind of freak? And so I hid it. And I thought, okay, I'm not going to let people know I can communicate with angels. And then when I found Kimberly, when again the whole business crashed in 2008 for a reason, very, very good reason. I thought it was the most devastating thing that ever happened to me. But then here I had the opportunity to find Kimberly and go deeper into my spirituality, deeper into my connection with the angels and guides. And now I'm pretty wide open as a channel to channel most any spirit that's in the light form. So that's pretty exciting too. I'm always excited when I do a reading for people to see who shows up.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and I do everything through the heart. So everything, I work with, I'm a heart math certified coach and trainer too. So I've been working with the physiology of the heart's intuition and intelligence through science. And then that just opens up once people get connected to their heart through heart focused breathing and different techniques like that, then they can connect, because angels and all the spirits and everything in the spiritual world is heart. Their love, their pure love and light, and that all comes from our hearts. So once we get connected to our hearts and open up that intuitive ability and that intelligence in our hearts, wow, we can connect. So that's what I do.
From your perspective, do you see a rise in the people looking for and needing spiritual coaching and life coaching?
Absolutely.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's because of what's happening in the world right now. First, when you take the whole collective and what's happening on a global perspective, the patriarchy is breaking down. The old systems of government, is there. Everything's breaking up. And what's happening is that it's not about the mind any longer or the ego. It's about the heart. So I say we're coming into the age of heart consciousness, and people are feeling it in their heart. I work with another an angel intuitive mentor, and he always says we're going through heart quaking. So people are feeling that their heart's intelligence and their intuition are being opened up through this new energy that's coming through in the world. I mean, the earth is changing, everything's changing. And so we're waking up at that heart level. And you can see that people are supporting each other and speaking their truth. The Me Too movement, there's all kinds of communities forming now in the name of love, peace, heart, compassion, kindness. And those are all heart qualities. So I think that's why people are saying there's got to be more to life than this materialistic external part of, paying the bills. I'm working at these jobs to pay bills. For what? What we got pulled into a society that got us to believe that more is better.
Yeah.
And that we had to have a level of material status and financial status and educational degrees to be successful. And I'm flipping that now for everyone and saying you can be successful by activating your inner leader. And that's why I started the inner leader movement, is that once we get connected to our hearts and we open those hearts up, anything's possible.
Is your book is of the same title, correct?
Pardon?
Your book is of the same title, Inner Leader Movement?
I'm working on that book right now.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
so that book is, So the books that I've authored and contributed to are 365 Days of Angel Prayers and the 111 Morning Meditations. And I've authored several articles in magazines and things like that. So it's exciting. I've written 4 books and I've never published any of them, but yet that's why I wasn't supposed to publish them, because it's not what I was supposed to be representing at the time. So now the inner leader movement is coming forward, and yes, that hopefully 2019 spring.
And I read some of your blog too, just the way you write and your expressiveness in sharing the ups and downs that have happened in your personal life to all be turned into basically gold, where you were about to move, you're all packed up, and then that didn't happen. But what happened was even better, yes?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times what we think we are to do is not aligned with what our heart is guiding us to do. And the whole time, that's such a great point that you brought up, Dr. Yolanda, about the move, is because the whole time something was stirring inside of me saying, you really want to do this? Is this what you're supposed to be doing? You really want to get another mortgage and do all of, have all of this financial responsibility at this point in your life? Don't you want to have more freedom? Don't you want to have more? And I was like, yeah, but, and then it all fell apart. And then it all evolved, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is where I'm supposed to be.
Right on.
Yeah.
So what would you say to the young people out there that are intuitive? They know that they're intuitive and they're hiding it.
Yeah. That is a great question, because I did that for so long, and things will happen. And so, and I don't want to say bad things or anything, but things happen to wake you up.
That we perceive as being negative.
Yeah, yeah. And so I believe that once you bring forth your spiritual gifts, and even if you've achieved a certain level of success, made a lot of money and climbed the corporate ladder, and it's still, there's something still missing with bringing forth your intuitive abilities. We've had our intuition shut down. So for those who know they're intuitives and know that they have these beautiful gifts, bring them forth. Bring them forth. Start talking about them. It's almost like we have a Me Too movement in intuitives, right? Because we're needed. We're needed out there to help people open up their intuitive abilities so that they can have guidance, because that intuition is connected to source. And that's, and our soul purpose is connected to source. And so that's, find your tribe. Find your tribe. And it's not just about the spiritual community either. There's a lot of people out there. Corporations are starting to bring in spiritual programs into their training curriculums now. They're bringing in education. They're bringing in more talk about heart math and relaxation techniques to reduce stress and open the heart to clear thinking with the mind. So it's fascinating what's happening. There is a call. So don't be afraid to come forth and say, I'm an intuitive and I channel so-and-so, because people are listening. They're listening.
And I noticed that across the board, there are more intuitives, card readers, angel guides, just so much information, the books and the videos and the talks, and it's amazing. I love being alive right now to watch this evolution of humanity. It's like we went from being completely closed down, little mouses just working in this machine, to going, wait a minute, I'm more than that. I mean more than that. I can do more than that. And that's the energy that we want you to embrace and to love about yourselves. Women who we are has been suppressed for such a very, very long time. And now it's time to rise. You're not called goddess out of envy or some mythological throne. You are the essence of creation because you carry life in you. Whether or not you've actually had a child, it doesn't matter. You are still the essence of all of that. And that's what I love. That's just, oh my gosh. It's a good time to be alive. It's a wonderful awakening that's happening. And I am truly enjoying it. You okay?
Yeah. No, I was getting chills the whole time that you were talking. I mean, just all of beautiful. Because I keep saying that to people when they're like going, oh my gosh, the world's falling apart. Oh my gosh, why is this happening? Why are so many people leaving? Why are there so many deaths? Why is there so much stuff happening? And I'm like, this is the best time to be here. We are evolving at a higher state of consciousness and of heart, intelligence, and intuition. And what a beautiful time to be here to witness this.
Definitely. And for the people out there that are on that vibe, we are being prepared to meet other people that are not from Earth. And in order to do that, we need to be much more heart intelligent, because these new people that are coming, they don't have the values that you grew up with. They don't know about your religions. They don't know your personifications of God. So if you're not being led from your heart and through your intuition, you could be a pawn in some pretty scary games there, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing that I loved about becoming involved with heart math is that as we open up our hearts and we practice opening up our heart intuition and intelligence, our hearts have an electromagnetic field. Mm-hmm. And whatever is coming out hearts, we are radiating that out into electromagnetic field, which everything is energy. And so it's like Rolla McCready, who is the one of the founders of HeartMath, said, what are you broadcasting to the world today? Mm-hmm. And that's through our hearts. So if you're feeling anger, fear, frustration, resentment, that's what people are going to pick up. So coherency, once we open up the heart and start activating those beautiful emotions of joy, compassion, kindness, then we're radiating that out and people are feeling it. So we're actually creating more of a coherent world by opening up our hearts. And because our electromagnetic fields are sending out our signal from our heart. And people are picking.
Oh yeah, big time. And especially intuitives, you kind of, and a lot of empaths. I think people that consider themselves empathic for a while had a difficult time just going out in public because they couldn't figure out why they were being bombarded with so many feelings and emotions. And I think we're on the cusp of truly understanding why they feel that way and offering some sources of protection from all that energy.
Yeah. And to raise the vibration. Yeah. I mean, we can, as we keep raising our vibration through our hearts. I mean, I used to feel that all the time. And now I go into a group or a meeting that I know is going to be, and I just keep raising the vibration, and pretty soon people start to calm down. And it's like, wow. So it's like, instead of pulling back and saying, I can't handle the energy, it's like, ooh, rise up and keep radiating out this higher vibration so that other people aren't shooting the negative, because the higher vibrations are always going to override the lower ones.
That's a wonderful point.
Always.
Yes, yeah.
So it's like, just keep raising the vibration.
And being true to who you are is a great way to do that. So
Absolutely.
How do you do your business? How do you offer services to the public?
Yeah, so I'm doing a lot online through Zoom, and I'm also starting to do some workshops now in small groups. But most of my work right now is working with individuals in activating their inner leader and getting them connected into the above, within, and below here on earth. So I do it all one-to-one, or in small groups. I have wisdom circles here in my home, and I'll start doing those online soon. But mostly is just online. Yeah.
And I saw that you work with both men and women.
I do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And how would you define inner leader for someone who's never heard that term before?
Yeah. So the inner leader is about opening up and leveling up your, that's this frequency I've been talking about, this heart frequency, to help when you open up that heart frequency, then more loving relationships happen, more abundance, you manifest opportunities faster. And it's also about contributing to the world so that you are spiritually fulfilled. Because I know a lot of spiritual people out there that haven't been able to financially support themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And people who are successful in finances, but they're spiritually dry, they're just drained.
What is that? What is that with the manifestation of money? Is it a lack of understanding? So what is that?
Yeah, it's just to have. You were breaking up there. So what was that question again?
What you said was the spiritual people seem to have a lack of money, and then the other people that have so much money are lacking in spirituality. Why do you think that is?
Because we have such a polarity in that. So we created this polarity, and now it's coming together. So people that have been in a spiritual business can find ways to make money now because people are open up to more life coaching, like you said, this more one-on-one coaching, this more. I've had a successful career. That's who I work with. I work with very, very successful career women who had all the money they wanted, but they're like, there's something more, so I help them get into that more of that fulfilled. There is more, and here's what I could do, even if it's to bring back more of this higher vibration and heart frequency into their corporate world. Even if it is to be talking more about heart, more talking about their spiritual gifts, and having more confidence and courage to bring out that deeper work, that service those spiritual gifts to the world, because that is creating more love and peace. I mean, bottom line of inner leader movement is more love and peace, and to have more fulfillment in your life, both spiritually and financially. So for example, I have a client, amazing woman who has been so successful in her career, but she's in a lousy relationship, terrible relationship, emotionally abusive relationship for 25 years. And once she went through this program, she has the courage and confidence now to leave and to get her own apartment and to start looking at, she's so excited. She's like, well, I'm going to keep my corporate job, but I'm going to do this stuff on the side. But she feels so much more freedom and so much more empowerment because she's out of this toxic relationship.
Yeah.
And wanting to leave it for years, and she didn't know how, because she was too scared, because she let fear lead her instead of heart.
Yeah.
Fears from ego, and so it's like, oh, I can't do this. So I'm getting chills as I speak of it, because she's moving into her new place soon, and then looking at, because her intuition, because of the inner leader that she has activated in herself, she now has all these ideas. She's like, I have gifts. And I always say that, Dr. Yolanda, to everyone. It's like, they always say, how do you do what you do? And I'm like, you can do it. You can do the same thing I'm doing. You just got to open it up. You've got to just connect with it and open it up. You've got those golden nuggets inside of you. So that's what inner leader movement is. I'm just opening up those. I'm having people go on a great big treasure hunt for these beautiful golden nuggets inside of them that they haven't activated, explored, or healed. I do a lot of healing with people because there's a lot of wounding. There's a lot, there's a lot of, we have a lot of scarring on our hearts from betrayal or whatever that is. And so I help them with the healing of that too. So yeah, it's exciting because it's something that I've taken my business savvy and my spiritual gifts and brought them together and able to weave them in. Because I've been so passionate about leaders. For years, I taught leadership classes in corporations, and it was like, wait a minute, we're teaching them all this external stuff. You got to have this competency, you got to have that competency, you got to have this communication skill. But what are they feeling inside? What's their true leadership abilities? So that's what Inner Leader is about too, is just bringing out that inner leader, from a corporate executive to a stay-at-home mom. She's a leader.
Oh, big time.
She's a leader every single day. But it's like, how can she activate those gifts even at a higher vibration and frequency, so that she's feeling more love, more peace, more calm, more coherency in her life. So I weave a lot of the heart math techniques in so that you learn how to do that with your heart, with techniques, breathing techniques, and activating the emotions, and then also just getting connected with resources above. And then how do you help people manifest that here on earth? So that below part. So like, we're living in a world that we still need money to live.
Yes, we do.
So we can't just say hallelujah. I found myself. It's like, okay, now what are you going to do with the hallelujah? To put it here, to manifest your work here on earth. And it's like magic, because then all of a sudden an opportunity comes up, or you meet someone and they're saying, hey, would you want to work in this healing center? Or would you like to do this? And, things just start to pop up like mushrooms overnight, because you're clear, you're coherent, you're confident, you're courageous to go to put your gifts out there. So that's what the Inner Leader movement is. It's really helping people activate their true heart and soul.
I absolutely love it. And that's really what happened with me as well. Or I just put it out there in the universe. I'm ready for more. And beautiful Sheila Tillage called me. I can't even remember how we connected, but it was like the universe just brought her into my reality. And we had this wonderful Skype phone call. And I thought, this needs to happen. This is the conversation that people need to hear, because it is inspiring, and it did completely come from the heart. So I have an opportunity to meet so many wonderful people such as yourself, to find out what other people are doing with their intuition, and encourage other women to love themselves and to love their life and to live their light without fear.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, absolutely. And it is that time of that. We are moving into a different light. There's a different energy coming onto the earth. I mean, and there's so much assistance from above. I mean, every day I almost feel like the angels are walking right beside me, because the angels and your spirit guides will never intercede. You really have to ask them.
Yes.
And then they will come in. And so I just say, show me where. Sometimes it's as simple, Dr. Yolanda, as saying, where should I go have my cup of coffee today?
Yes.
And I go, I listen. I'm like, okay, I'll go to that one. And there I'll meet someone who'll say, what are you doing now? And I tell them, I'm like, oh, I want to sign up for that. And it's like, whoa, just over a cup of coffee, following your intuition.
So like what I do in my office is deep trance hypnosis. And I tell people to come in with a list of questions. So you know, with this dialogue, it brings me to I have had a couple people come in with like 2 or 3 questions. I'm like, no, I want you to have the best session possible. Bring in an entire list, bring in 2 or 3 pages so that we can get to the deepest part of what you really and truly want to know. And otherwise, I tell them, otherwise it's just you sleeping and I'm staring at you. There's nothing else going on. You need the questions to interact with your higher self there. So yes, and even something like a cup of coffee, the things that you do on a daily basis. That's how I became in the relationship that I'm in now, which has transcended everything I've ever done. I could say from this perspective, I've never truly had a loving relationship, because this man and I are just like that. We're so intertwined with each other's energy and being and what we're doing. And he's so supportive and so loving. And we just have, we've talked all night and just, giggled ourselves to sleep. I've never had that in a relationship before, So things are definitely changing. New love is on the rise.
Yeah, and that's a great example, because once you really stay true to your intuition and open your heart, and that's what I'm teaching women too, who aren't in loving relationships, that you can have that loving relationship by being true to yourself and letting your inner leader be your compass.
Exactly.
And so that's why I'm so passionate about this, because I'm seeing the results. The results are happening for people and for me. I'm living my inner leader, because if I weren't doing this, I couldn't help other people become successful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I tell the women out there, if you are looking for a loving relationship, don't be afraid to step out of your box. That person, that ideal relationship, that man doesn't have to look the same way you look. He doesn't have to come from the same culture. If you think about meeting somebody and being introduced to new foods and new languages, those things increase your intelligence and your personality about how you see the world. You want dynamic conversation. You want somebody who trusts you and who you can trust, that you guys can talk about anything and resolve anything. I appreciate the fact that we don't always agree, because I love the interaction. I love listening to his point of view, although he's not always right, but that's okay.
Yeah, we always got to bring him back to that goddess wisdom.
Yeah.
That inner wisdom, which is yes. Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, I love it. Just but we are just about out of time. I just want to thank you guys out there for watching. Did you have any last words?
Well, if I do have an offer.
Okay.
If people would love to go onto my Facebook page and leave me a message, Lisa A. Clayton, and I would love to do a complimentary. Just say that you were Dr. Yolanda. Just put Dr. Yolanda, so I know that you
saw the show.
Saw the show, and I would love to do a 1-card, a mini angel reading, a 15-minute angel reading for people who tuned in and want to know more about the inner leader, but just would love to just get them connected. I just
would love that.
And where their heart is right now, and give them a mini message. So yeah, I would love to offer that to your audience.
Awesome. Yay for you guys. Contact Lisa Clayton. And she also has a website, which is
lisaaclayton.com, or you can find it through sourcepotential.com also. So awesome. Either one will get you there. Yeah.
You're on Facebook, you've got your website.
Instagram. I'm on Instagram at Lisa Ann Clayton, and LinkedIn. So yeah, you'll find me. Just let me know. Just say Dr. Yolanda, and I'll connect with you, and we'll do a mini free mini angel reading.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. as always, thank you so much, Lisa. It's a wonderful interaction. I love what you do. You are empowering people. You are helping them find their true inner light. And I love you for that. Thank you.
Oh, love you too, Dr. Yolanda. Thank you. Namaste.
Bye, everybody.